Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 296. Where do I even start? Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. I am super excited about this week's episode. It is actually a new class and new content that I just created and taught yesterday in a live class format called Where Do I Even Start? And I created a guide called the Start Here Guide that had 5 simple steps to help you start the process to stopping over drinking and start living. And I want you to listen to this podcast in this class. And in order to get the most out of it, you should have a journal or a notebook in front of you so you can take notes and do the exercises that I talk about in the class. If you were on my email list yesterday on September 10th, you got an email with the guide. So go back and check your emails for the guide. If you didn't receive it in your emails, send me a note at hello@angelamascenik.com and I will send it to you. But this is an excellent class that will help you get the ball rolling today. Not tomorrow, not on Monday, but today. I hope you enjoy. And remember, don't forget to sign up for the Wine-Free Work Week Challenge. It starts next week at angelamascenik.com/WFWW. Enjoy. Welcome to the Get Started Now call, where I'm going to take you through 5 simple steps that's going to help you take some action today to start to change your relationship with alcohol. I get asked all the time, and I hear and read all the time, where do I even start? I'm on the struggle bus. It all seems so overwhelming. My family, my friends, my coworkers drink, and I don't even know how to unwind myself from this situation. So this class call and guide will help you do that. It'll help you give you something to start with, something to map towards. And so if you've been struggling with over drinking, maybe you've worked on it in the past, maybe you're on a pattern right now that you don't like, this is a really good call for you to be on. So the guide that accompanies this call, I'll receive that here. So I'm going to actually share my screen and show that to you so we can workshop it together. So as I'm doing that here, I just want to remind you, if you're brand new, I was somebody that was just like you. I overdrank for over 20 years. Okay. And I know the struggle of wanting to cut back and not doing it very intimately. And I tried all the things. I tried not drinking during the work week. I tried fasts from alcohol. I tried dieting. I tried avoiding social situations, not having alcohol in my house. I tried all the different things to not keep drinking the way I was. And none of that worked until I found life coaching. And life coaching really changed that for me. I learned why I was drinking in the first place. I got to learn how to manage my mind and my mindset around alcohol. I got to learn how to feel my feelings. And so it was the internal work that I did on myself that changed my relationship with alcohol. And now I don't drink at all. So I went on that journey over 6.5 years ago. I explored not drinking. I explored planning drinks. And ultimately, at the end of that exploration, I decided I didn't want alcohol in my life anymore, and I left it behind. And now it's been over 6 years since I've drank. I then went on to become a life coach, and I teach people those same things that I learned in my own journey to change their relationship with alcohol. I've coached thousands of women. I've developed multiple programs. I am going to tell you about a couple things coming up next week that I want you to consider joining if you haven't signed up already. But today I'm going to take you through 5 simple steps that will help you do something today to get the ball rolling that you can easily manage no matter what your goals are. You don't have to say you're quitting drinking or that you're even not going to drink today, but I'm going to take you through couple little steps that will help you do something towards the relationship that you want to have with alcohol. And just as a reminder, if you don't know, I help women figure out what relationship that they want to have with alcohol. It's not an all-in-one approach. You don't have to quit drinking. You don't have to moderate. You get to explore and decide what is best for you with my guidance. And I hope that you feel open to exploring what that looks like. The way that I decided to leave alcohol behind was my own choice through my own journey of looking at how I felt when I drank, looking at how I felt when I didn't drink, and evaluating all of it. And then coming to my own conclusion that I didn't need alcohol, didn't want it, I didn't like it anymore, so I decided to leave it. And I have found through coaching women through all these years is that the most powerful decisions come from them through their own explorations. And so I'm here to help guide you through that in a way that feels good for you, that you can come to your own conclusions on what is best for you. Okay, without judgment, without labels, without any shame. So this is what the guide looks like. Okay, and this is just a little letter from me in the very beginning that you can read through. I basically just told you what it says. But it's important in going back to this, in order for this to work, you have to do the work. Okay, if you just listen to me, it's probably not going to do a lot. Maybe it might motivate you to consider thinking about things differently. But you actually have to do what I'm telling you to do today. Okay, so it's not going to work if you just keep this on your desktop or filed away. And it only works if you do it today, not tomorrow, not on Monday, but today and right now. Do it when you thought you needed it, which is when you signed up to join this class. Okay. I promise you it's doable no matter what. You think about your abilities to do it, you can. So I want you to give it a try. And you have nothing to lose except maybe a hangover, okay? And I'd love to know if you do these things that I'm going to teach you today, I'd love to know how that works out for you. If you want to send me an email in a week or so at hello@angelamascenik.com, I love hearing from you. So please let me know how you're doing and what you're doing that's actually working, okay? This is the first part of the start here. So the first step is declaring that you have a desire to cut back on your drinking. Okay, so the example that I have here in the guide says, I am declaring that I want to stop over drinking and I want to do the work that it will take to do that today. So I want you to take a moment to write out your declaration. Okay, you have to decide and declare that you are going to do something about it. If you know that you're not going to do anything about it, it's probably best if you don't waste your time anymore on this call. But the people that want to change, that's what I want to help with right now. Okay, so declare that you're going to do something about it today, not tomorrow, but actually today. And it actually doesn't take a lot of effort to not drink. Okay, it's think about not doing something versus doing something. Okay, so just take a moment. You can use this example that I have written here. If you don't have the workbook printed or out in front of you, just grab a piece of paper and write out, I'm declaring that I want to stop over drinking and I'm going to do the work today that is required. Okay, and I'm just asking you to do something today. So just take a moment and write that out. And if you want to share that in the chat, I'd love to see it. It doesn't help to just keep thinking about changing. Like a lot of times people overdrink and then they wake up in the morning and they're really hard on themselves. They're like, I'm not drinking tonight and I'm going to do something about this. And then it just remains an idea in their head. They don't actually put that idea into action. So when you write things out on paper and you make a goal, that's what we're doing right now, that you're doing something about it, it becomes real. It doesn't just stay up in your head as an idea. So we want to declare and decide that you are going to do something about this today. The next step is step 2, is to make a small goal. Okay, we've decided, we've put our flag in the sand, we've decided that we're going to do something about it. Next step, number 2, is we're going to make a small goal. Okay, so just think about today. right? If that is where you need to stay. It can be to not drink today. It could be to take a 30-day break from alcohol. It could be to choose to drink half of what you normally would today. It could be to not drink at home for the next week. It could be to only have one drink and you wait until after dinner. It could be that specific. Okay? I want you to take a moment to think about that and write out your small goal on your piece of paper. You can't get this wrong. You can't overthink it. Okay? Whatever you choose is okay. I promise. It's just better to decide what that small goal is and then to write it down. And there's no right or wrong decisions here on your goal. Okay? All right. Does everybody have it written down? All right. We're going to move on to step 3. Step 3 is deciding how you're going to achieve this goal. So I have a bunch of examples listed in the document. I'm going to dump all the alcohol in my house and replace it with tasty bubbly water, herbal teas, and kombucha today. Okay? I'm going to tell my person, whoever that is, your spouse, best friend, close family member, about my goal and desire to cut back. I will also make sure I have good food in the house so that when I'm hungry, I don't have to think too much to nourish myself. Being hungry and not having good food around is a trigger for some people to drink, so that's also important. You can go for a walk when you decide or when you have an urge to drink. You can listen to my podcast, Stop Over Drinking and Start Living, if you have an urge. You can journal today about how you really feel about your drinking. Or I will practice pausing, slowing down, and breathing when I feel tense or agitated. So these are just some ideas about how you're going to execute your goal that you have written out today. So those are just some ideas. You know what is most effective for you. So that's what I want you to pull from this. What are you going to do today that's going to help you achieve the goal that you wrote down today? Okay, Marguerite, I want to have one drink after dinner for the rest of the week. All right, so how are you going to do that? How are you going to set yourself up for success to make sure that that happens? Good job, Lisa. I will meditate or walk when I want to drink. Perfect. Might be something else to add too is it's great to just, I don't have any alcohol. I'm not buying any alcohol, but what else can you do to support yourself to 100% ensure that you will not drink today? Like, what do you think you might need if you do have an urge to drink? Like, what would be helpful for you to work through that? That's how you want to think about it. And we're thinking about it now when we're not having urges to drink. Okay? So that you can engage the higher part of your brain that has its best intentions. When you wait, right? This is why some of the tactics that I mentioned that didn't work for me in the past is just like kind of white knuckling through it or just saying in my own head, I'm not going to drink tonight. When it comes time to when your normal behavior occurs, like in the evening or if it's after work when you normally want to drink, if you wait until that time to figure it out, you're not having your best chances of success in play there, because your brain just wants the drink at that time, right? It's just very urgy. It wants what it wants. It's like a little child, right? And so trying to think of a strategy when you're in the throes of the urge isn't a great way to approach it. So right now, when it's in the middle of the day, we're thinking about this. And so we're going to have these strategies on board so that when we do have the urges, we can pull up this worksheet or look at your notebook and you're like, nope, I'm going to go do this thing that I said I was going to do. Yep, a walk. I will drive to the beach and walk with a joint, then drink green tea when I get home. Okay, is that what I think it means, Jennifer? Marguerite, yep. Yes. Okay, so Jennifer, we don't want to supplement something with something else. I'm just going to say that you are an adult and you can do what you want. But I would encourage you to feel what you need to feel in that moment. So why do you need something to calm yourself down in that moment? Those are some deeper questions that we're probably not going to get too much in today, but maybe that's a question that you ask yourself for later. The whole reason why we're drinking is because we're needing it to solve some sort of emotional issue, and replacing it with something else is not going to teach you and get to that root of why you're needing it in the first place. So you get to decide what that looks like. Okay, yes, you need to feel. Okay. Deep breathing, walk, pistachio ice cream, meditate. Love it. I'm going to women's counseling group meeting tonight. Will not drink, and I do not drink and drive. Although tonight the debate will be on. Yes. Yeah. So just acknowledge that you might have some feelings, right? We're human. We're alive, right? We come with a whole range of feelings, right? That we get to experience because we are alive. And whatever feelings you have, no matter what is going on, are all normal because we're humans. And the more that you can be with those feelings and be curious about those feelings and get more in tune with yourself, the less need you're going to need to escape with anything. Does everybody have their little strategy about what they're going to do ironed out? So step 4 is execute. That's it. You have your declaration, you have your mini goal, you have your strategy, right? Step 4 is executing. So it's just putting that plan into action. Be brave, be willing to be uncomfortable, be willing to fail at it, be willing to succeed. Just be willing and believe that you can do this. I just want to know, put it in the chat, does it feel doable for what you have declared you're going to do and what your mini goal is and how you're going to do it? Does that all feel doable for you right now? If it doesn't feel doable or you feel confused, now is the time to let me know so I can help you. He was planning on smoking. I mean, you get to decide what that looks like, Jennifer. Okay. Remember, this is about your own experience. So think about it. What would it be like maybe if you didn't play that out? What would it be like if you did? What do you stand to gain either way? Alexander, tried so many times and failed. That's what you're thinking about your goal. Okay. So what if today you decided that you were going to be successful? What would that look like? Lisa, yes, it's hard, but I want to allow myself to feel. Yes. It feels doable, but I wonder about white knuckling through it. Yeah. So the difference, like the white knuckling, is when you're just like, oh my gosh, I just really want to drink. This sucks. What the heck? Like everybody else drinks. I should be able to drink. And you're like battling with yourself, right? That's that white knuckling type of energy. So if you find yourself in that battle, what you want to just remember is, oh, I just want to drink, right? That's all that's happening. And that's just going to take the temperature down a bit. It's okay if you want it. That's the thing. We don't want to be scared of that want. That want is going to be there no matter what your goal is, okay? Because your goal is different than what you're doing right now, right? And so just know that the desire is probably going to be there. And that's okay, right? That's just what happens when you get addicted to things. And if you have a strong attachment to alcohol, there's an addiction happening. And when you cut back on that, your brain is going to be like, ah, right? What's going on? I want that thing. And so that's absolutely normal. There's nothing wrong with you. It's absolutely part of the process. So kind of getting comfortable with those desires is what is going to make it easier for you. So when you find yourself wanting it, you just want to remind yourself, it's okay that I want this. Let me just get out of my head and quit the battle and get into my body and breathe and relax. So this is one of times like moving your body, stretching, doing some yoga breathing, all of that kind of where you can get into your body and stop the fight with your mind is where you're going to want to go to tonight. And that just feels so much easier. You're not fighting with it. You're accepting it. You're allowing it to be there. Okay. So play with that and practice that. Nice. You're okay with listening to music and singing. I'm a singer. I have equipment at home when I want to drink. I love it. Music is also a really good tool. I love music. It always puts me in a good mood. You can dance, you can move through it, right? Go out for a run, I listen to music. Go walk and listen to music. It's a really good way to get out of your own head and listen to something else that makes you feel good. So yeah, highly encourage you to listen to music. Do what you know works for yourself. Okay, imagine what it would be like to be successful, okay? Imagine what it would feel like to be successful. Like you wake up tomorrow, you're like, oh my God, I did that. Wow, what would that feel like? You probably feel proud and excited and hopeful, right? So that's what you want to imagine. right? You are doing this. You get to feel proud right now that you're just here and you're actually declaring that you're going to take some action for it today. That's a huge step. Admitting that you want to change it, deciding what that looks like, making your strategy, be willing to be uncomfortable, and then you repeat. Okay? Yes, sleep is better when you're not drinking. Okay, so that's what we want to imagine if you're in the throes of the urge tonight as well. Imagine yourself being successful, how you're going to feel tomorrow. Okay. So that's part of it, right? So the next step, so tomorrow, okay, and even if you said, I'm not going to drink for 30 days, we want to evaluate, right? This is a big part is your reflection and looking at how you handled the situation. How did you execute, right? So the next part of the worksheet is that this is the step 5. And this is probably the most valuable piece of this is after you execute, you want to evaluate what happened. So maybe in the morning you come back to this workbook and you answer the questions here. Okay, so we don't need to workshop through it right now, but the questions are, did you follow through on what you said you would do? If yes, how did you do that? In the space below, you write what worked, what thoughts did you notice that helped you stay strong and follow through on your goal? Who did you share it with? Be very detailed and specific on how you did that for yourself. Okay, don't just say, well, it was easy because I didn't have alcohol in the house, or it was easy because our plans got canceled. That's not taking ownership of your success. You know, in those situations, you still could have figured out a way to get alcohol. I mean, we can have DoorDash delivered to it, right, Steph? Right? Like there's so many ways that we can get it. Give yourself the credit that is due on executing that goal. All right? So it's really important that you reinforce what is working so that you can repeat that. We want to repeat again what worked on that day. So that's why you want to write it out there. If you weren't successful, we want to write out what happened as well. So the next section of this is know what happened. Okay, so be curious. I know it might feel frustrating if you don't follow through, but we want to acknowledge it. Yes, this is frustrating, and I want to be curious about this so I can learn from this and make some shifts that I need to make for next time. Okay, so you want to be specific. You want to first write out what you did to set yourself up for success, and then you write out what didn't work. What went wrong? Did your brain start chatting away? Did your plans change? You want to write out what happened in that space in the workbook, okay? And then after that, like you identify what didn't go well, you want to write out what you're going to do differently next time so that you learn from this experience. Be very specific. Don't say, I don't know, okay? Don't allow your brain to say, I don't know. If your brain does say that, be like, okay, well, if we had to guess, what would it be? And then that's the answer. And then in the space here in the workbook, you write out exactly what you're going to do differently next time. Okay? And then if you didn't follow through, you have to let it go because you've done the work here to figure out what happened. You've made your new strategy, right? Just like we did at the beginning, your new strategy to what you're going to do. And then you go execute and then you repeat and repeat and repeat. If you're just getting going, I would do this workbook for 30 days. Every day, be committed to learning, evolving, growing, challenging yourself, and putting pen to paper on this. Okay? So after you do that, maybe you just made a small goal for one day. You come back, you make another small goal, and you repeat this process. All right? And you just complete it again and again. So let me know what you think about those 5 very simple steps to get yourself going on the right path to have the relationship that you want to have with alcohol in the chat. Does it feel doable? Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable at times. Absolutely normal. But this will help you start to move the needle in the direction that you want. Okay? Yes. It does work if you follow the steps. Absolutely. So the other things I put in the guide is, this will help get you going. But if you want to continue on and go a little bit deeper, I've written out a few of the things. There's 3 things that I think that if you start working on these things can really catapult you to have the relationship you want to have with alcohol a lot sooner than later. So number one is learning how to feel and process your feelings. Feelings drive our behavior. So not being willing to feel difficult feelings like boredom, shame, disappointment, anger, loneliness, those kind of things will keep you in the over drinking cycle. Learning how to feel and process your feelings will break that automatic behavior that sets us back from reaching our goals. Okay, that is number one, learning how to feel and process your feelings. It's not a skill that is intuitive. We're not taught how to do this, like we are taught how to read and how to solve problems. We are not taught how to do this, so it doesn't feel intuitive. So get support on figuring that out. I talk a lot about it in the podcast and in my coaching programs. That is one thing that we focus a lot on in the work that you would do with me. Number two is learning how to manage your mind and your thinking. This is a tool. Our brain is a tool. And if you learn how to manage it the right way, you can go anywhere you want in your life. It is very, very powerful. What you think creates outcomes in your life. What you think about alcohol creates how much you drink or not. Okay? And learning how to manage this crazy thing in here with 60,000 thoughts a day is really important when you want to change the path that you're on, no matter what goals you have. In work, in relationships, with alcohol, food, learning how to rein this in and decide what you want to think about things is very, very important and powerful. You have a lot of thoughts about and beliefs about your capabilities to make changes with your relationship with alcohol or anything else that you want to work on, and it's really important to know how to manage this. And number three is getting support. A lot of times you can't do this by yourself. If you've been trying to change your relationship on your own for over a year, it's time to get professional help. It's not going to get any better. And there's nothing wrong with you if you have been trying to do this on your own and you're not moving the needle the way you want. Alcohol is a drug. It is addictive. And sometimes it takes professional support to help you figure that out. I needed it. All of my clients come to me because they haven't been able to do it on their own. Having a coach is fun, or a therapist, or some other, if you don't want to work with me, I'm not saying you have to, but getting some sort of support or joining a group is really, really important so that you can have people to navigate this with, and to realize that you're not alone, and you can freely talk about this issue without being judged by your friends and family, right? Sometimes it's important to get support by people who are doing it with you because you resonate with them, right? They're going through it with you, and you can feel more open to sharing, and people understand what you're talking about when you're sharing this stuff, right? Family and friends can be very supportive, and they may not judge you, but maybe they just don't get it, right? And it's hard to explain certain things to them. So finding a group of like-minded people is really impactful, and a coach or somebody that can help you, that can challenge you and can help you navigate this on a professional level. And then lastly, be willing to do something different, something out of the normal, something big. You have this one life, and as you know, over drinking doesn't feel good in it, and it steals you from a life of aliveness and happiness and joy and growth. And I don't want you to miss out on that, because on the other side of it, it is magical, it is beautiful, it is more fun, and it's worth every bit of fight that you can do to get there. And so I want you to fight for it, okay? I want you to think about doing things differently. Doing the same old things over and over again are not working. You got to be like, okay, I surrender. What can I do, right? What can I do differently? Think about that. So next week, I am doing the Wine-Free Workweek Challenge. If you haven't done that with me, I highly recommend that you do that. This is the page for you to sign up on that. It's AngelaMascenik.com, Wine-Free Workweek. I'm going to put that in the chat. So if you want to continue going on after this, you can. There's the link to sign up for it. It's $7.77. It's absolutely a no-brainer. We start on Monday, so it's basically you take 4 days. You take a pledge to go alcohol-free during the work week. Monday through Thursday night, no alcohol. every day of that 4 days, I'm going to be coming on live Zoom, just like this, and teaching and coaching you in a Q&A style format. So you can get more coaching, more questions answered. Every day of the challenge, you get an email with one simple thing to do. And then you can share that assignment in a private Facebook group that we have just for people doing the challenge. And you're entered to win prizes. Every day there's a prize that you can win by showing up, doing the little assignments, coming to the calls, and whatnot. You get a workbook that goes along with it as well. Everything is recorded and uploaded, and you'll have access of all the classes, the workbook, everything until October 4th. So, and then on Friday, after the challenge is over, Friday morning, I come back and we regroup, we evaluate the week, and we decide what you want to do going forward after that challenge is over. So, you should do it because this is like my signature challenge. I've taken thousands of women through this challenge. It's super fun. We have a really fun playlist. You get daily support and engagement with hundreds of women doing this with you. And it's just not something that you want to miss. It's a very low cost entry point to get some high touch coaching for 5 days in a row, basically. And then we have a master class that's included the following week. So like we meet for 5 days in a row. You guys go off and apply what you've been learning. And then we come back together the following week for a more of a webinar style teaching masterclass that's also included with it as well. Yes, Jennifer, do the wine-free work week. So that's the link. It's angelamascenik.com/wine-free work week. And as soon as you sign up, you get an email with all of the information, the call times. And like I said, they're recorded, and so you'll get the replays the same day. So if you have to work during the day when the calls are, you'll have that replay at home that you can watch as soon as you get home from work or whatever your situation is. And absolutely equally as beneficial of doing the challenge if you can't make the calls live. Good job, Jennifer. Shelly, you should do it again to reinforce it. What time are the calls? When you click here, the call times are Monday at 10, Tuesday at 11, Wednesday at noon, Thursday at 1, and then Friday at 9. And then the following masterclass wrap-up is the following Thursday at noon. So those are the times. And that's all on East Coast time. Sometimes you have to do things multiple times for it to stick. And so for $7.77, if you liked the challenge and you were successful before, I would say do it again. You have nothing to lose except to drink less. Every time I decide not to drink or smoke, I feel so much prouder. Absolutely. We're not meant to numb ourselves out. You know, like we're meant to feel our feelings. We have them for a reason. We need clarity. It helps you process information. It helps you make better decisions. It helps you navigate difficult situations when you're not numbed out. When you overdrink and you numb out from things, it actually causes more anxiety and overwhelm because your brain gets activated to overthink about different things. So when you take that off the table, you're able to like really get clear on things better and able to navigate difficult situations. You can have more fun, have better goals, you feel better. It's just like this big cycle effect that happens when you get away from it. Yeah, Shelly, do it. Yes, we can be great influences around the people in our household by doing this work and focusing on ourselves. It does have an influence in the people around us for sure. We've got our declaration that we are going to do something. You all committed to that. We have our mini goal. We have our plan of how we're going to achieve our mini goal. We're going to execute it today. And then tomorrow we're going to come back and evaluate it. And then we're going to repeat that process. Okay. What questions can I answer? I have a few more minutes. If you guys want to ask me any questions. Let's see. Do I ever run these challenges through the weekends? That is where I struggle most and when I feel bored. I have done it once on the weekends. And yeah, I'm not saying I'll never do it again on the weekend. It's more popular for the work week. So that's why I've tended to do it more during the work week. But since they're recorded, you can then redo it, anytime you want to. And inside my Live AF program, if you're inside of that, these stay inside that, so you have access to them anytime. So you can just take the information and just put it on different days of the week. And you'll have it. I think you have it for a couple weeks, so you can do it on the weekend if you need to. What can someone do or say to themselves when their brain says, F it, you deserve a drink? So this is a really good question. When your brain says that to you and you can recognize that that's what your brain is saying to you, you could come back with, what else do I deserve? I did a whole long post or podcast on we deserve way more than drinks in our lives, right? You deserve so much more than that. You deserve a good night's rest. You deserve to have downtime. You deserve to have your own personal goals and your dreams fulfilled. You deserve to not have to say yes to everything that people are requesting time of you. You deserve to feel happy. So what is it in that moment that you think that you need when your brain goes to, F it, I deserve this? Usually when that happens and we're thinking that way, it's because you're stressed out, overtired, overwhelmed, right? It's not usually a good feeling when we say the F it's, right? So you deserve to be present with what is happening so you can recognize what is happening and then make changes in your life to fix it. That's what you deserve. Does that help? We can't fix it if we keep saying fuck it and drink, right? So we got to figure out why we're saying that, That's where the clarity comes in. Good. What if your nerves start to rattle? Yeah, if you start to feel anxious and you're just I got to take the edge off somehow, deep breathing really works, stretching, going outside, moving your body, doing something soothing. I love being out in nature. So if I was feeling really rattled, I would go out and connect with a tree. I know it sounds crazy, but it really works. Being out in nature it calms your nervous system down. Get away from technology. If you're feeling you're rattled, unplug. Go for a walk outside, even if it's just to go sit under a tree and observe the leaves rustling in the wind. It's you getting out of your mind and connecting with something else is super settling. So that's what I would try. And just breathe, right? That's what you need. Your nervous system needs to be reset. It doesn't need to be doused with a chemical. You just need to relax. Put your feet up the wall, listen to some music, journal, call a friend, dance, drink some ice cold water. All those little things are super helpful and cost nothing. I've had a hard time processing my emotions and dealing with it positively instead of reaching for alcohol or food. Yeah, it's a practice, Shelley. So if you haven't been able to figure that out yet, getting professional support might be helpful. I have a ton of podcasts on processing your feelings. The first step is just acknowledging how you feel. I feel anxious. I feel stressed, right? And just saying that out loud to yourself. And then the next step is, okay, where do I feel this in my body? Find the area in which you're feeling the tension or the tightness or whatever it is. And then you use your breath to breathe through that, right? We've all done exercises, maybe some yoga. When you get a muscle cramp, they say, breathe into your shoulder, breathe into your hip, wherever you're getting that. That's exactly what we want to do when we have a difficult emotion is use your breath. And that gives your mind a break from thinking about it. And you focus on the area with your breath. Yay, you just signed up. Breaking a habit is so much harder than just a declaration. Right. That's what we're talking about here. You have to declare that you're going to do something about it, and then you have to do something about it, right? So I'm not sure, what that means. If you want to elaborate on it, I'm happy to dive into it a little bit more. It takes practice, right? You have to practice. You have to evaluate when you're not going wrong or when it's not going right. You have to reinforce what is going right. It's a total process. It does take intention, takes focus, right? It takes dedicating time to work on it every day. It's not just going to happen, right? It doesn't just happen by reading or listening. It's going to happen by doing it, right? Making your plans, declaring you're going to do it, having a strategy, practice, 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 fail, 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 win, 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 fail again, evaluate. Like, it's a journey, and it's different for everybody. I feel like I need some tools to help, just not sure what they are. Okay. So I just gave you just the simple steps to start. So I would just do that. Just do exactly what I told you to do. And don't overthink it. If you tell yourself, I need more, you're never going to take an action. You're never going to go do anything, right? If you do exactly what I told you to do just today, you will make some traction. And then you'll have some information and more data to reflect upon. And then you can decide what you want to do again, right? And if you feel like you need somebody to hold your hand and walk through that, that's absolutely fine. You might have to hire somebody to help you do that, right? So the tools are learning how to process your feelings, learning how to manage your mind. I've shared a little bit about how to process your feelings here. And then life coaching helps you make goals and get you to take some actions, right? Therapy is more diving into deep things that have happened in the past and healing that and processing that and working through that. But it doesn't help you typically, and this is a generalization, doesn't typically help you make a goal and help you get into action mode and move forward. That's where life coaching can help. What do I do when I remember warm, fuzzy feelings regarding alcohol? So when I think about that, which doesn't happen very often because I have really changed how I think about alcohol, is I enjoy waking up with clarity. I enjoy waking up feeling proud of myself way more than fuzziness. I don't actually like the buzz anymore. That's how I came to end my relationship with alcohol. I had one glass of wine. It was the last time I drank. It was over 6 years ago. One glass of wine. I got the buzz, and I recognized I don't like feeling that way because I enjoyed being connected to myself so much more. I enjoyed connecting with my family so much more, with my real self, than having like this blanket fuzzy feeling over me. I don't like that feeling at all anymore. So that's what I think about it. If my brain does suggest I have a drink for some random reason, I play it through and I think about how that makes me feel. And I remember I don't like the way alcohol makes me feel. And so then thinking through that helps me make that decision to not drink. So the reason why we like that fuzzy feeling is because it helps us disconnect with something that we're currently feeling that we don't like. And so that is the sort of the opening. Like, what is that feeling that I'm not wanting to be with? And can I get curious about that? Am I willing to feel that? And if you can accept all of your feelings, you have no need to drink alcohol, and it's easy to not drink. Yes, Coach Steph, it's not a success-only journey. Using the failures as experiences to learn by doing the evaluation, it's so important to help you progress. Shelley, I will often know that I don't like that feeling, but then I do it anyway. Yeah. And so then we just have to evaluate it, right? So we have to figure out, like, sometimes you have some unconscious beliefs about alcohol and how it helps you. Right? So like your job, Shelley, is to list out all the reasons why you do like alcohol. Like, become aware of that, because that is still kind of driving your behavior. If you still believe that it's helping you in some way, that's unconscious and you're not aware of it, it's going to override these new things that you're going to try. So we have to really be willing to look at it and tell ourselves, yeah, I like drinking because of these things. And that's okay, right? But if I want to change it, I got to be willing to see it. And I can't have a new journey without this being left uncovered. Yes, it does require one to face the truth. Yeah, it requires brutal honesty within yourself, right? You have to stop lying to yourself. You have to tell yourself the truth. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to change. That's why, like, this start here thing, like doing something today, is going to help you start that process. And you have to be willing for it to take some time. You have to be willing to learn how to love yourself through that process and to be patient. There's a lot of skills you can gain by going through this. Like, I have been able to grow my business, change my relationships, do so much more in my life because I learned the skill of doing these uncomfortable things, right? Having boundaries, having difficult conversations with people, having my feelings, right? all of those things that you learn on this journey are lifelong skills that will always stay with you. So I like to think about, yeah, we're presenting with having an over drinking issue, right? But when you go on this journey to figure it out, you get to learn skills that you can apply in any situation in your life forever, like the risks and the feelings that you have to run your own business. Like it's really uncomfortable to put yourself out there and to take risks, and people come back at you with all the things and say no and failures over and over and over again. But I gained that resiliency and that experience through my journey to stop over drinking. So now I'm like, okay, I can handle these things. I can handle rejection. I can handle failure because I got my capacity to do those things through solving my over drinking problem. I'm glad that I had that journey. It set me up to go on all sorts of other directions in my life. I can have difficult conversations with people that before I would never feel comfortable to do because I was too scared. Now I can. Now I can set healthy boundaries for myself. I know how to say no to things that aren't good for me. I know how to end relationships that aren't good for me, right? I know how to put myself as a priority, all because I worked on my relationship with alcohol. So it enhances your life in so many ways you don't even know yet. It's worth every ounce of energy you want to put towards it, I promise. Who's joining me for the Wine-Free Work Week Challenge? Keep these conversations going. You're very welcome. I'm going to put the link in there one more time. Yay. You're very welcome. Yay, you signed up. Awesome. All right, friends. You all should have that document in your inbox. Print it, save it, keep using it over and over again. And I want to hear from you about how it worked out. Okay? Yay, you signed up. Great. All right, friends. Well, have a great rest of your day. I believe in you, believe in yourselves, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for everybody that came to the class, asked great questions. And if you haven't done it, sign up for the Wine-Free Work Week Challenge, www.angelamасcenik.com/WFWW. See you there. I want you to check out angelamascenik.com/aliveaf. You know what it's like to have a desire to cut back on your drinking, right? You start to read books, listen to podcasts, try things, but you might not be able to yet put all the pieces and suggestions together in a way that actually makes sense and works for you. You might struggle with beating yourself up after an overdrink. You might get frustrated with yourself when you take 2 steps forward and then another 2 steps back, and get overwhelmed with what's right and wrong about your relationship with alcohol. Your friends tell you that you should be able to have just 1 drink, and it isn't a big deal. You might be white-knuckling through urges and resisting instead of peacefully processing them. And you might struggle with your identity as someone who has enjoyed having a lot of wine or alcohol in your life. It's around you all the time. It's what you do and who you are. Well, after 5 years of successfully coaching hundreds of women through these struggles, I have created the Alive AF membership, where women like you can learn the basics on what it takes to cut back and reach your goals with alcohol, whether it is to just drink less or totally quit. And when you join, you will get the exact framework I used to change my own relationship with alcohol and still use today, that has led me to be alcohol-free for over 5 years. You're going to get access to my resources, videos, and worksheets that have been proven to change and reduce how much you drink. Every day you can ask questions, share your obstacles, and get coaching and direct support on the challenges you will face with love and no judgment. Also, you will get immediate access to workshops like uncovering your alcohol identity and changing it, how to say no to things that don't support your new identity or life or goals, aka boundaries. A workshop called Creating Emotional Agency, and another one, How to Manage Your Mind to Succeed at Your Goals, and more. Every month we have a brand new workshop. These workshops are filled with step-by-step prompts and instruction to help you create the exact relationship with alcohol that is best for you. My mission and vision for Alive AF is to be a hub of support and resources for women to come and learn how to do what is best for them and becoming more alive in the process. When you join, you're going to learn how to take care of yourself better, how to feel good and become more alive and go after the life that you really want. I want this membership to be affordable and an easy solution where you can get all the help you need in one simple place whenever you need it. So no need to go read another book, find a new podcast, attend a free webinar, or go down the path of piecemealing it all together. Join Alive AF and have it all there in one place for you anytime you need it. So go to angelamascenik.com/AliveAF and enrollment is open right now. See you inside.